Hey there, hobby homesteaders. Welcome back to Peak's Peak. Today, I'm going to talk to you about my Kubota BX because I've owned this thing for 2.5 years, and I finally got to share with you the things that I hate about this Kubota tractor. Now, I want to say before we get started in this video, I'd love to see this turn into an interactive comparison of either things that we hate or how we fix the things that we hate about the Kubota BX tractor. There's a great community out there on forums and message boards talking about different things that people do with their Kubota BXs. I'm sure you have some things you don't like about your Kubota BX, but you also have some ways to fix some of the things I'm going to talk about today. So jump in the comments and share those things with us. We'll all talk about how to get the most out of our Kubota tractors. So I'm going to start by telling you about my tractor because different years, different makes, different models are going to have some things improved and some things that haven't been improved yet. So you kind of need to know what you're looking at if you're going to take my opinions into consideration. I've got a 2019 Kubota BX23S that I bought on the very last day of 2019. December 31st, I made a deal with them and they delivered the tractor a couple of days later. I have been using it hard ever since. I have 420 hours on my machine, so I've gotten to put it through all of its paces, and I've gotten to know the machine well. So today, I'm going to share with you the things that I just hate about this tractor. Now, I'm going to start by talking about really one of the very first problems that I have, and that is the front tires. I haven't had any problems with the rear tires, and I don't have problems with traction. But this tractor came with the R4 tires. The R4 tires are a pretty good mix of traction versus not tearing up your yard too bad. So don't really have issues with that. But what I do have issues with are the fact that they cut very easily. And I have been through 2 of these front tires and actually went through them pretty quickly right in the beginning. I cut the sidewall twice on these R4 tires. And I have heard that the R14s are a great upgrade. So if you're buying a new Kubota, then it seems like problem solved if you just choose a different tire. But for me, these R4 Garden Master tires that come on the front of this Kubota are just not a great fit for the tractor. The second thing that I hate about this Kubota BX tractor is the removal and installation of the mid-mount mower deck. I've got the 60-inch mower deck and I don't have the drive over model. So the only way that I can put this mower deck on and take it off is on a concrete floor. I don't have a great back and I am not strong enough to slide it in and out on grass. Now, mind you, you can turn the wheels and roll it, but they come with those little split rings on them. You know, the same split rings that are on your 3-point hitch setup that are a pain in the butt. And it would just take too much time and effort to turn those wheels to roll it back and forth, in my opinion. So I always take it off inside my barn on the concrete floor, and that way I can slide it and move it in and out. But it takes a lot of effort, and I get a little more age on me. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to do that. The other part about putting this mid-mount mower deck on is it's difficult to get that mid-drive shaft hooked to the mid-PTO. You have to get down on your hands and knees and reach in under there, and you want to make sure that you keep that shaft lubed really well to where you can keep it moving, keep it freed up, because you've got to be able to slide it out as you slide it on to the mid-mount PTO shaft. And at times, I have to also squeeze the collar to get it to push on to the mid-mount PTO shaft. Can just be a pain in the butt sometimes. Seems like there's probably some better ways, but that's one that gives me some heartburn, and I'm just not a fan of the removal and installation of the mid-mount mower deck. Number 3 on the list is the 3-point hitch setup. There are a couple of issues that I just really don't like about the way the 3-point hitch setup works. The first being, it's kind of a pain that you have to take the 3-point hitch off to be able to fit your backhoe onto the BX23S. So you may not have an issue with your 3-point if you're running the regular BX, 23 series without the backhoe, and you don't have to swap that out. But I very regularly have to take my 3-point hitch setup off of the tractor in order to fit the backhoe on. Now, I've seen some guys doing some things where they fold up the arms and don't take it completely off, and so there is a way around that a little bit, but it would be in your way in my opinion, and so I just don't like that method, so I take mine off. Now, the second thing that I don't like about the 3-point hitch setup is the way that they send it with the top pins hooked in with the split rings, because taking those on and off was very cumbersome. So one of the very first things I did was swap those split rings out for some linch pins, and you can pick those up at your neighborhood farm store, and they make them to fit the factory holes, and so you can slide those linch pins in, and I keep a couple of extras of those in my toolbox. Number 4 on my list is probably not Kubota's fault. It's my own forgetfulness, but I hate how tall the ROP system is on the BX23S. Now I understand that it's different on the other models, but for the backhoe, for you to be able to sit in the seat, it has to be taller to give you some headroom, but it gives plenty of headroom. So much so that I've popped some major wheelies pulling my tractor back in the garage because I forget to fold it back down and I catch my garage door. And even in my new shop, I built it with taller garage door openings, with 8-foot openings, and I still am very close. I have to make sure the roll-up door is all the way up, because they won't clear if you don't have the roll-up door all the way up. So you need nearly 8 foot of clearance to be able to leave this ROPS up. I'm a forgetful person, so the tall ROPS is kind of a pain in my butt. I'm not a fan. Number 5. What's with the toolbox situation on the BX? You get this little armrest pocket that's not even big enough for a pair of sunglasses. I think I have 3 linch pins in my little factory compartment, and that's all the storage you get on the tractor. Man, if you're using a tractor, you need a toolbox. And the next problem I have is I don't see very many good ways to affix a toolbox to the BX23S. There are several options out there. You'll see a few of them on there. You can see what I've done. I put it right next to where my foot rides on the brake pedal side, and I bolted it through the floor pan and sealed it up, and that has worked really well for me. If it was factory designed that way, I'd probably be complaining about it because it's in your way getting on and off. So I didn't have the greatest solution either, but I've got me a toolbox on there, and you probably come up with ways to figure that out too. Number 6 on the list is one of those things that honestly, there are probably some pretty good and easy solutions that they could have and should have come up with from the factory, and that is the headlights. The headlights on this thing are terrible. They're not bright at all from the factory, and they are at exactly the spot where they are blocked by your front end loader if you're running it at the natural position driving along. So if you're driving along in the dark, you either have to run your loader uncomfortably low or uncomfortably high if you want to be able to see anything in front of you. Now again, you may have come up with your own solutions to that. There are ways to fix that, but the factory headlights are pretty terrible. Number 7 on my list is the placement or the lack of protection around the hydrostatic transmission fan. If you've watched my video on the fan replacement, you know I busted my fan. And here's the scary thing. I ran that busted fan for a while because I didn't know it was busted until I started seeing people advertise different undercarriage protections that they were using, and I realized that, hey, I got some issues here. And so I figured that out. Seems like there should have been a little more of a guard in place from the factory to protect that fan and keep that transmission protected. But the fan is where it is, and if you happen to have busted yours, I've got a great video on how to replace that for about 15 or 20 bucks. And it only took me a little over an hour, and that was shooting a video too. So it can be changed out, and it's not the end of the world if it gets busted, but seems like there should have been a better way. And last but not least on the list of things that I hate about the Kubota BX is that I hate that I didn't buy one sooner. Because I'm gonna tell you what, I don't know how I ever lived without it. I love this machine. I'm able to do so many things with it, and these things that I'm complaining about are very minor. And if I had a different brand of tractor, I would be complaining about different things, because nothing's ever going to be perfect. We're all different, we have different needs, we do things differently, and so that is just kind of the way it is. But I made this video to kind of share with you guys some of the things that have bugged me about this tractor, because we all use them differently, and they may matter more to you than they do me. And so if you're in the market shopping for a tractor, you may want to look at those things and decide which one's right for you. All right, guys, well, I appreciate you watching today's video. If you're not a subscriber and you're a Kubota BX owner, I'm going to be sharing information about this tractor until the day the tractor dies. So hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. I try to post a Kubota related video every Tuesday. So I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all have a good day.